Uh, there's a little saying I heard before, and it's called, or it's by Confucius, and it says, if you embark out, if a man embarks out on revenge, it says before you go, it says dig two graves, dig one for yourself and one for your enemy, or one for your enemy and one for yourself. And I'm seeing this dang predictive programming replayed over and over and over and over again in movies like Man Who Would Be King. You know what I'm saying? I just watched um Conan, and same thing as in that movie. It's like it's different. This is the revenge flick, I guess you could say, archetype. But you see it in you see it in Star Wars with Luke going into the cave, and like Yoda's like, you don't need your gun or you don't need your sword. And he goes in there and he sees Vader and he kills him. And then he cuts off the mask and it's him. You know what I'm saying? And then in the movie, it's really his father. And at the end of Conan, Conan comes creeping up behind Snake, the Snake father. You know what I'm saying? And the dude starts trying to run his mind control on him. He's like, my son, I gave you all this strength by killing your parents, and basically I made you everything you are. And then Conan chops his head off, and he's standing on top of the pyramid with the all-seeing eye right below him, for instance. And then the next scene, it shows him sitting there on his throne with his hand under his chin, with two tigers on each side of him. I mean, it's pretty it's pretty deep. But this is where I'm gonna go with this. I keep seeing the same strategy played. And it's called. Well, what I heard is that, all right, this Manly P Hall guy, and he had this quote, and he said, uh, once a person understands how to work the energies, the seething energies of Lucifer are flowing from his hand, the new man on the block. Okay, what does the new man on the block mean? That's Conan. He went up in there and he took out the last leader, the last king, and now he becomes king by default because he took out the God man king. Now he's the king. Uh, it's crazy. It's in it. Then there's also the false flag aspect to it. Like you, let me think of what movie I'm thinking of here. Blood In, Blood Out. All right. Basically, Miklo sets up his, the leader of the gang, and they false flag and they make it look like the whites and the blacks did it, but it was really the Mexicans themselves, and they did this to consolidate the power. You know what I'm saying? And like I watched the director's commentary on it, and the dude was like, they were interviewing a dude from Sam Quentin, and he goes, "Dude, that really happened." When he said, "When I watched that movie," he's like, "That's real shit. That really happened." So, uh, the man who would be king, the big man on the block, the new guy on the block. And I mean, I've seen this out in the hood. It's like drug dealers and tough guys. Tough guys, when you meet two tough guys from different parts of town, for some reason, they start off kind of picking each other's brain, and then it gets kind of more nasty, and until it turns into a one-on-one fight or a gun shooting or something, or it turns into a jumping of someone. And this, and I see this as like this has been implanted and programmed in our culture, man. I just was watching it on the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. New guy on the block. I mean, first they're getting a hard time, but then you got false flag. Then they become. Then now they got the juice. That's it too. Juice. This is the same thing. The new guy on the block. What happens? Tupac gets the seething powers that he learns how to manipulate and mind control, like James Earl Jones was trying to do to Conan. He's like, my son. I mean, Tupac even tried. I mean, he was using these same psychological strategies. You know what I'm saying with people, and it's like mind control, and it's like crazy. I seen this video the other day where there was an old school like '70s pimp movie, and the dude, the pimp, was taking all his women into like an auditorium where he had all this. He was like the wizard behind the curtain, and he was literally mind controlling these women, and then making them make a verbal contract with him for life. And I was like, nuts. You know what I'm saying? That I didn't realize how much mind control was out there. But then you see James Earl Jones at the end of Conan doing it. You see Darth Vader do it. Luke, just join me. We'll go to the dark side. We'll rule the galaxy together. You know what I'm saying? This is the same thing. And then in real life, you see this. What happens when the old boss in the mafia, you know what I'm saying? He gets pop, pop. And then the new guy that killed him, whoever orchestrated it all, gets bestowed the honor to become the new guy in the block. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with the damn, when countries and shit. Like, look, when they defeated Germany, you know, then they implanted these same people somewhere else and started the game all over again. You know what I'm saying? It's like the communists become capitalists. Now we're communists over here. It's the same fucking paradigm, just flipped and repackaged. And it's a replay, man. It's like, what is that, man? A rerun of the same thing. I mean, it really is. They really are running straight up reruns. It's like a football playbook, and they just keep running it. So I realized the pressure from above and below. And how do they get that pressure from below? The new guy on the fucking block. You see that movie? There's a movie called Bad Boys with Sean Penn, where it's like from the '80s, and it's about juvenile facility. You know what I'm saying? I mean, or you can even see it played out in that movie, Shawshank Redemption, but that was more like the soft overtaking. You know what I'm saying? He becomes the new guy on the block, but this guy ain't doing it through his physical force. He's doing it through a skill. You know what I'm saying? But it still allows him to become the top from the bottom. You know what I'm saying? It's just another form of the new guy on the fucking block. It doesn't matter. Once you're the Pope, you're the fucking Pope. You got the scepter. You got the crown. You know what I'm saying? The Black Pope, as long as you show him his honors or whatever and let him keep his power from the shadow, because really that's the gangs, man, is the Black Pope. You know what I'm saying? In a way. Because a lot of times you'll see how the gangs be working with government. Like, but they might not even know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I heard it was CIA guys that taught all the dudes in California, all the gangs, how to do drive-bys. They were like, hey, watch this. Like, they were undercover, and they basically taught the dudes a bunch of skills that they shouldn't have, and they were like, wow, we can get away with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So they started doing it. That's what I heard. Like, you'll find people dead, gang members with 2 shots in the chest and 1 in the head. You know what I'm saying? And that's supposedly a mafia CIA intelligence agency hit. You know what I'm saying? So you can see this stuff. It's like same thing, like that movie, The Black Dead Presidents. These dudes get taught by the military, get out, start robbing banks. In a way, you can see how these skills, the warrior, the warrior culture gets leaked back to the streets. Just same thing. Motherfuckers in jail doing all these assassinations and shit get out, and they're just like people who come back from war thinking that there's gooks in the trees. They come home thinking everyone's staring at them and wants to take their food or their Kool-Aid, so they just start, they're institutionalized, man, in a way. And it's pretty sad that, this has been done to us. Because, I mean, like I said, now everything I see, I'm seeing this. You're telling me the same. There's like different aspects of the same damn story you're telling me, but it's incremental. You're trying to make it seem this over here is not related to this over here, but they're connected. It's the same story, just told from a different perspective, or it's carrying on the torch. It's almost like a ritual. Like, oh, we can't break the ritual. You got to go through the ritual, or you can't. You know what I'm saying? Or it'll all fall apart. I mean, they religiously have kept to these rituals, these predictive programming. It's like the card game, the Illuminati card game. It outlines all the stuff in there. It kind of says things without saying it, with coming straight out and saying it. So it kind of says it in a way that isn't direct, straightforward. It's indirectly accurate. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Same thing with all these dang the movies that were shown, and it's all the same thing. The man who would be king, the guy who tricks people, but then kind of exposes the last guy who was tricking him. But then at the end, he becomes the same guy in a way that rose to power and loses it all. You know what I'm saying? Fucking it's crazy. And then in that movie, The Warriors, when basically I just realized it. I'm like, holy shit, these motherfuckers had this shit planned. You know what I'm saying? They had people that they set up and they lifted them up in the ranks so they could be Montana, and then they could kill them themselves, blame it on the enemies, and then consolidate all the gangs and rule and become one. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with this fucking New World Order. It's the same shit. It's stupid. It's fucking all related to the Catholic fucking Church. I mean, I know that probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people. That's how good these people. I mean, there was a time when they wanted all the glory, all the respect, all the honors. Now they can just sit back and kind of they'll take what they can get and they'll play the role. You know, oh, we're just the little guys. We're just observers. You know what I'm saying? All the while orchestrating shit. You know what I'm saying? Got people on every continent. They got the warriors and Cyrus on every continent. You know what I'm saying? And because they teach you both. You know what I'm saying? They'll teach you the good side of their organization, or they'll get you in. You won't even know you're in their shit from the low hand. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, and we see this in the movies over and over and over and over and over again. Like, it's crazy. Uh, but it's definitely predictive programming. I mean, I not only have I seen it in the movies, but I've actually seen. That's how it works out in the hood, in the real world. It really works similar to what they keep showing us over and over and over, and it's like it's part of the game, the left right uh, uh, paradigm. Look, cops and robbers, cowboys and Indians. It's the same damn thing. Communists and capitalists. Now you got uh, now it's kind of weird. Now they've added. Now this is kind of when the floodgates of what the f uh are released, because you got the Muslims attacking the Jews, and then you got multi factions of Jews that do different things. So I mean, it's hard to really pinpoint the truth on that one. You got the black pope and the white pope, but they're both working together. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, you got churchianity followers. You got you know, it's part of this whole thing is to get things so out of whack that you're like, dude, you just abandon whatever you believe in because everything seems so deceptive by design, and it was actually facilitated in its predictive programming. You can't just predict something uh that you're planning. It's not really a prediction. It's more like it's a it's a projection of you know what I'm saying, come from a projector, like on a projector screen. But it's the same dang shit. I mean, it's a little different now because now you got just you throw the three into it with the Muslims, Christians, Jews, but then you got Catholics. They're not really Christians. They're something else. I mean, it's a big funky mess here. It's hard to tell who's who. It's hard to distinguish what is fire from the enemy, friendly fire. It's just, and I think this is the whole part of this, is just to get everyone fighting with each other, and then it's like you're so busy fighting with the people that got instigated. You know what I'm saying? That you don't get time to figure out who was the actual initiator, who's manipulating things, who's got the strings, man, who's holding the strings in the back, in the shadow. I mean, even and it really does kind of. It's like Manly P. Hall said. It's Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? It's like the messed up energy about the new guy in the block. It's not your energy, man. That system that you just took the throne of was set up by the devil. You know what I'm saying? So really, whatever power you got, I mean, yeah, you might have some say in it, but in the end, you don't. You're just gonna get, and you're the initiation for the next, the next Lord, the next Snake Lord. You know what I'm saying? That's how these things work, and you can see it in the mafia. You can see it in governments. You can see it everywhere.